Hi Stitchy friends, and welcome to my Flosstube channel. My name is Kenzie from Mudpuppy Stitchery, and I am a cross-stitch designer, I am a bird nerd and a wildlife lover, and I enjoy doing all of the crafty things. So if you're new, welcome. I hope you like what you see, and I hope that you'll continue to follow up with me on all of my future videos. And for my current subscribers, thank you so very much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So hello everybody, how have you been? So it has been a couple weeks since I posted my last video, and holy moly, I had a huge jump in my subscriber count, which is just incredible. So I just wanted to say a huge thank you and a welcome to all of my new viewers, and a huge thank you to everyone who's been with me this whole time. So I really appreciate it, and it's made me more excited to keep making good quality videos for you guys and to really focus hard on my stitching goals this year. So thank you again, and I hope you'll stick along for this crazy journey with me. So I did want to do a quick reintroduction because we have a lot of new folks joining the channel, and I wanted to tell you a little bit more about my background. So my name is Kenzie, and I am a Minnesota stitcher, and I have officially been cross-stitching since 2019. But I previously did a lot of embroidery and sewing and drawing and painting prior to that. And then I graduated with a degree in biology, ecology specifically, with an art minor, and have worked professionally with permanently injured raptors and wildlife. Through a crazy turn of events, I have transitioned into working on a very large cancer research study that partners with 7 other institutions across the country, and it's definitely been a wild ride. But I really enjoy being able to connect with incredible doctors, researchers, and study coordinators across the country, and it's been a really rewarding position. With that, I definitely miss working with wildlife, especially with birds. And so this channel has been an outlet for me to not only share my love of stitching, but also to share my love of animals and biology. So you'll see later on in the video where I have a little segment called Wildlife Minute, and it's been such a nice outlet for me to get back into my environmental education roots where it all began. So if you've also noticed my logo and wondered what in the world is that, that actually is a Mudpuppy, and hence my channel name. My amazingly talented sister, who is a professional graphic designer, created this for me, and I absolutely love it. And her contact information is down below if you need any professional graphic design services. But it does kind of seem weird that I would choose a Mudpuppy, which is one of Minnesota's largest fully aquatic amphibians, with those really amazing external gills. Those are the red poofs on his head, instead of just choosing a bird. So one, I could not decide on a bird. There are just too many incredible types of songbirds and raptors and waterfowl and other species to choose from that could just encapsulate my love for birds. And then two, everybody loves birds, and so it's not very original. So why not choose a super niche, very strange looking, fully aquatic amphibian that nobody's heard of, right? Well, that sounds logical. But the Mudpuppy reminds me of a time when I was in college and I was completing my senior capstone by doing ecology research on the Mississippi River, and I met some incredible people that changed the trajectory of my life. And so it reminds me of that time. And to be brutally honest, I couldn't think of any other ideas, so the Mudpuppy it was. And so that's the story of why my channel is called Mudpuppy Stitchery. And last but not least, because I've been waffling on for such a long time, I did want to just quickly mention that I do have an Etsy shop where I do sell PDF copies of my original cross-stitch designs, and I would love for you to check them out if you're interested. And I'm currently working on designing a very big piece that focuses on herons. And I'm not sure when it will come out, but I will definitely keep you updated. But I'd say that is more than enough introduction for me now. I would like to hop right into the WIPS and a new start. The first piece that I've been working on has been languishing for far too long, and I am 1000% determined to get this finished and framed this year. So this is 100 Owls by Owl Forest Embroidery. And it's a free chart that I'll make sure to list down below so that you can download it yourself. But I started this back in August of 2021, and it's been stitched on, or it is being stitched on 18 count moss by My Vintage Needle Arts on Etsy. I just love the colors of this piece, and I love how it's turning out. I've just been really dragging on this piece for some reason, and I don't really know why. But I'm just going to keep breaking it down into little sections and focusing hard on this piece because I really want to get it done. So I hope you don't mind, but you'll be seeing this one a lot until it's finished. Lately I've been working on completing this middle motif right here, and then starting on the large owl down at the bottom. And then once I get these two complete, then everything else is just small owl motifs and super small fancy leaf motifs, so super doable. And I am using all DMC colors on this one, but yeah, just gonna keep working on it and I will get this done by the end of the year. This next one I haven't pulled out in a really long time, so I was really glad to start working on this again. And this is October 31st by Cottage Garden Samplings, and this is how far I got. So I previously had the outline of the pumpkin done, and so I just was working on filling in this really big pumpkin. And my goal for the next time that you see this is to have the pumpkin fully filled in, and then I'll be ready to start working on the crow. This was part of a stitch along with Lorrie of Mischievous Stitches last year, and I think we both kind of petered out working on it. But I love how it's turning out, and it is being stitched on 18 count cornflower by Fiber on a Whim Fabrics, and it is using the called for DMC floss. And I really wish that I had rotated the design this way because I would have saved so much fabric, but for some reason I was thinking the design was going to be way bigger than I thought. But oh well, it's okay. I still have a decent size of extra fabric at the bottom to use for a different piece. I've recently become very addicted to Fiber on a Whim fabrics, and I can't wait to invest in some more. And I also wanted to mention that I am going to be pulling out the October 31st in the top left corner there, just because I want to be able to display this piece all year round. And so I will probably just put the year that it's completed, hopefully this year, fingers crossed. The next WIP that I worked on, only for a couple days unfortunately, was Moggy Manor by the Blue Flower. I have been itching to get back to this one, and I am going to be putting some serious time into this in the next week. I absolutely love how it's turning out, and I think it's going to be a super special piece because I am completely customizing it to honor the dogs that have passed away in my life. So here's what it looks like. So I recently was working on finishing this portion of the grass right over here, and then I finished the cartouche on the top, and I have started on the big birch trees on the left hand side. And oops, now that I have gotten through all of the stitching, all the full coverage stitching of the house and of the little lake and the little banner at the bottom, I think it's going to go extremely fast from here. And I'm going to try putting the pattern right next to it here, just so you can see some of the changes that I've made. We'll see if this works. So first off, I have completely changed the bottom to say all dogs go to heaven, and I just love how that looks. And then I changed the two cats to two dogs, of course. So two Cavalier King Charles Spaniels. And the right one is Zoe, and she was our family dog. And then the left one over here is Heidi, and she was my grandparents' dog. So I'm so beyond pleased with how they're turning out, and they really do look like them. And then for the water here, I changed it to Spring Rain by Color and Cotton. And I also changed the house to it's like this deep olivey green called Laurel Wreath. That's really hard to say, Laurel Wreath. That's also by Color and Cotton. So really excited to keep going on this, and it is turning out so pretty. So inside the cartouche, I will be putting all of the dogs' names, and I just need to sit down and try to design something that looks nice. And I'm also thinking of having it in like a variegated floss, but I'm not entirely sure what color I want to lean towards. So if you do have any ideas, let me know down below. And the fabric for this is 18 count Old Gold by My Vintage Needle Arts on Etsy, and I love this beautiful mustard yellow. I've also gotten some questions on why some of my pieces have all of this extra fabric all around the outside. And this was actually a trick that I picked up from my good stitchy friend Kim from Contented Needleworker Kim. And it allows you to save so much more of your stitching fabric by having your design closer to the edge so that you're still able to place the whole thing comfortably in a Q-snap. So the Q-snap will snap onto this extra fabric here, so it makes it easier to stitch and allowing you to waste so much less of your precious stitching fabric. So I hope that makes sense. But like I said, I'm going to continue working on this piece for the next week and hopefully make some good progress. And the last piece that I worked on was a new start. And it is completely out of my normal wheelhouse, and it is honestly the biggest piece I have ever started working on. And that is Jane Atkinson circa 1780. So I was immediately drawn to this beautiful, extravagant flower border, and also all of the goofy looking animals that are kind of scattered all throughout the design. Now, I do plan on replacing the Adam and Eve with more animals, and for sure I'm definitely going to be doing like a really big goofy looking kangaroo, but I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do on the other side. So if you have any ideas of like another tall, long animal that I can slip in there, let me know. I also really wanted to change the words to something that's really personal to me. And I have decided to put a couple verses from the song Through Heaven's Eyes from the movie The Prince of Egypt. And if you love the story of Moses and have not seen this movie, which first came out in 1998, definitely stop everything you're doing right now and watch it immediately. It is just incredible. The music in this alone gives me full body chills, so highly, highly recommend. But this is how far I got on the piece. As you can see, I was really addicted and could not put it down, but I have got a long way to go. It's literally like a bed sheet. So obviously I'm just starting in that top left corner, and I've got all this fabric to stitch on. And in total it's going to be 290 stitches by 460 stitches. So it is big. Really, really big. But I am absolutely loving all these beautiful warm colors, and it's been really easy stitching just because there's lots of large blocks of color. So you kind of just outline and then fill in, and it feels like it's a big coloring book. I'm really pleased with how the colors are looking on this fabric. And this is actually a half yard of vellum by Picture This Plus. And I'll talk a little bit more about this fabric in my purchases section, but I love it, and if I had to describe it, it sort of looks like a tortilla, but in slightly more pink tones. But this will be a piece that is going to take years, but I'm really excited to have this started and to have this in my rotation. So those are my 3 WIPs and my 1 new start. And I have been starting projects like crazy, left and right, for the past like 5 months. So I definitely need to cool it down. But I'm just going to be working on my rotation until I get something finished. And then it can be replaced with a new start. I will, however, have a very small birthday start in June, which I'll show you a little bit later, but other than that, I need to focus on what I already have so that I can get some more finishes. So as a little interlude before I show you my fully finished project, some beautiful charts that were sent in by a lovely viewer, my purchases, and a couple freebies, I did want to get into a segment I like to call Wildlife Minute, where I give a little talk on wildlife, biology, animals, or anything that strikes my fancy. So hopefully you'll learn something new today, and it will encourage you to take a deeper dive into the wonders of the natural world. But if you're just interested in the crafty stuff, feel free to hop to this time point. Hi there, Wildlife Kenzie here. So here in the upper Midwest, it is bald eagle nesting season, which means that we have some incredible live cams to watch, and we are able to experience eggs being laid, chicks being born, and watching them grow to adult size in only about 10 to 12 weeks. And it is so much fun to have one of these on in the background as you're working or as you do certain things around the house. And you'll catch some truly interesting moments, and I promise you that you'll learn a lot. So I highly suggest taking a look at these, and they will of course be linked down below. If you've watched my past couple videos, I've highlighted a particular nest down in Decorah, Iowa that currently has 2 chicks. And the eggs were laid mid-February, and they just recently hatched on March 24th and March 25th. So ironically, we had a huge snowstorm on March 24th, so those poor little guys got to really experience their first winter right away. But Mom and Dad kept them warm and safe, and they're doing great. So this is what they look like on March 28th, only a couple days after being born. They are covered in fluffy down feathers, and they are what's called Altricial young, which means that they are completely helpless and they need Mom and Dad's help to survive for some time. And the opposite of Altricial is Precocial, which means within a few days of hatching, the chicks are able to run around and follow Mom and Dad and gather food for themselves along the way. So an example of a precocial species would be mallard duck chicks. So depending on the bird, some species of chicks are ready to go right away, and others take a little bit of time to mature and grow before they start to venture outside of the nest. And I recently checked in on the chicks on April 15th, and this is what they look like now. So they are a little over 3 weeks old, and look at how big they've grown. They are eating and pooping a lot because they need to grow to full size in just 10 to 12 weeks. So Mom and Dad are constantly feeding them. And Mom and Dad are not regurgitating the food. They are just ripping off little chunks of flesh from the fish, rabbits, raccoon, anything they can catch, and feeding it directly to the young, bones and fur and scales and all. Most raptors have extremely strong stomach acid, so they have no problem dissolving the bones and the scales, but they will cough up the fur in what's called a pellet. And you'll also notice that they are starting to get pin feathers popping up here and there, and that means that the outer layer of feathers is starting to grow over those downy feathers. Now, you'll notice there's a thin whitish layer of keratin that is wrapped around each feather, kind of like a McDonald's straw, and that helps to protect the feather as it's growing outwards. And that thin keratin layer will be rubbed away with their beak, and the feather will pop out just as it's supposed to. So I would definitely recommend keeping an eye on these guys, because they will be changing and growing significantly from week to week. And there's one more live cam that I wanted to mention, and that is the Mayo Clinic Peregrine Falcon cam that is located on top of the Mayo building. So like the Eagle Cam, this is a live cam and you can access this at any time, and it will of course also be linked down below. Now falcons are very different from eagles, but they are both considered raptors due to their sharp beak, their keen eyesight, and their incredible talons used for killing prey. Peregrine falcons, similar to the bald eagle, have come back from the brink of extinction, and having these nests helps to encourage population growth and also keep pigeon populations under control. So peregrines do so well with nests on high-rise buildings because they naturally make their nests on top of bluffs and high peaks right on the rock. So a nest in a city isn't really too different than what they're used to. I had checked the cam on March 28th, and she now has 4 eggs that she's sitting on and incubating. And the first egg was laid on March 20th, and it takes about 30 days until they are ready to hatch. So I'd guess any day now we should be having chicks being born. So definitely keep an eye on that live cam as well. Lots of exciting things to come soon. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's Wildlife Minute, and if you did, please let me know in the comments down below. Now, back to stitching. So if you've watched my Flosstube number 16 finishing tutorial, you will have seen my newest finished piece, and that is the Raccoon by Cottage Garden Samplings. And here is how it turned out. Now, this was started in mid-February of 2023, and I finished stitching it beginning of March of this year. And I was able to fully finish it on a stained board of live edge wood, and it matches my other older finish, which is the Fox, also from Cottage Garden Samplings. So I am beyond pleased with how these turned out. And if you're interested in how I did it, please check out my last video. I did want to mention that these were both stitched on 18 count verdigris by My Vintage Needle Arts on Etsy. And I do plan on stitching a few more of the animals from the A Year in the Woods line, but that will be further on down the road as I could pick up a few more patterns. I did want to show this wonderful stack of patterns that I received from a lovely new stitchy friend, Kathy, and she had also sent a beautiful handmade card along with it. So I've already been in contact with her, but Kathy, thank you so very much for your kindness and your generosity in gifting these to me. So I very much appreciate it, and let's take a quick little look through this stack of animal charts. Hi everyone, I wanted to show you the wonderful stack of amazing charts that one of my subscribers, Kathy, gave to me, and she also sent me this lovely card, so thank you so much, Kathy. I really appreciate it. And here is the first one. We've got Cottage Garden Samplings, Forever and Ever, the beautiful cardinals. Love that. And then we've got a Tiny Modernist, Nighttime Owl. This one is beautiful. Love that one. We've got Prairie Schooler, Farm Fresh. The super cute little eggs. We've got another Prairie Schooler, Fall Fields. These are just tiny and so cute. We've got another Prairie Schooler. This is October. This is Cooler Classic Charts, The Woods Behind My House. And I think Amy from Amy Loves Toads, she has been working on this one. It's looking beautiful. We've got another Cooler Classic Charts, Nature Christmas Sampler. It says, Let Heaven and Nature Sing. We've got another Prairie Schooler, Santa and Friends. I'm excited to stitch these up. These are so pretty. And then we've got a couple from Mama Witch Cross Stitch from Etsy, and this is called Three Hairs. Super cute. Another one called Friendly Neighbor. and spring cleanup. Super cute. And then last but not least, I wanted to show you this one. This one I think is my favorite of the bunch, and this is Love and Prickles by Lindy Stitches, and this will certainly be my birthday start for this year. So thank you so much, Kathy. All right, let's jump into the purchases. So I bought a few things from 123 Stitch, including 2 patterns and 2 pieces of fabric from Picture This Plus. And the first pattern you have already seen, that is the Jane Atkinson, and again that is being stitched on the 18 count vellum. So the fabric is so soft, and it has super subtle variation, and I'm really happy with it. So I don't think I mentioned it before, but I did start Jane Atkinson on Easter of this year. So those were my first 2 purchases. My next 2 purchases were Oh Joyous Day by Blackbird Designs. And if you can believe it, this is my first Blackbird Designs pattern that I've ever bought. But I have always loved this one, and I have always thought it is just beautiful. So to stitch it, I bought this 18 count fog by Picture This Plus, and it is absolutely stunning. I will for sure be buying more of this color because it is such a beautiful, variegated light dirty gray, and it is just so pretty. So I think this pattern is going to look fantastic on this fabric, and I'm really excited about it. But I have no idea when I'm going to start this one, but at least I've got it kitted up and mostly ready to go. And that is all the haul that I have for this video. And last but not least, I wanted to show you 4 freebies that I am very excited to add to my pattern stash. So the first 3 I downloaded from the Fat Quarter Shop website, which will of course be linked down below. And the first one is Little Irish Blessings by Susan Atkey. Very cute. And then the next one is Little Quaker ABC, also by Susan Atkey. Very cute and happy, and it has lots of little bunnies on it. Love it. And then the last one I downloaded from the Fat Quarter Shop website was Bloomtopia, release number 12. And it is super summery and super cute, and I just love it. And the last one I was notified about from a lovely stitchy friend named Patty. And then, funnily enough, I also saw it on MommaLovesYouGB. And it's this amazing freebie pattern called Bird Nerd, designed by Amity of Boomerang Stitches. So thank you so much, Patty, for sending this to my attention. And I've got it downloaded, and I have the Hathaway Stitchers video where it's mentioned in my to-watch list, so that will be fantastic. But what an absolutely beautiful chart, Amity. You are super talented, and I absolutely love it. Alright, stitchy friends, that is all that I have for you today. I hope you have enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please like the video, please comment down below, and check out my Etsy page, also linked down below. And please follow me at Mudpuppy Stitchery on Instagram to keep an eye on what I'm doing in between videos. So I appreciate you so very much, and I hope to see you in about 3 weeks. So take care, do some bird watching, and stitch all of the things. Bye!